Hello. So, I wanted to talk about the topic of injustice and justice in regards to the current justice system and also how I feel that a justice system in the fifth dimension would look like. So, what my vision is for that. I'm going to discuss the problems with the current justice system in 3D in comparison to the shift that I believe that we need to make for a justice system in the fifth dimension, basically. So I feel that this topic is related to the Black Lives Matter and the riots that are currently going on because of that. So obviously I'm not black. Um, you know, I've never experienced racism or anything like that, but I have explored the topic of justice and injustice the last few years. So I'm going to talk about that because I feel like, that's in reality, that's, if you look at the bigger picture, I think that's what's at the heart of it, for everyone that's involved, and if we look at the topic of justice and how do we create a better justice system, one that encompasses a perspective of unity, one that encompasses a unity perspective, then I believe that we can heal racism, and I believe that we can restore justice to the black community and for indeed anyone that's ever been hurt by anyone else, So, what is my experience with that? Well, I don't need to go in depth with that. I don't want to. It's quite a personal issue. But basically, I felt the last couple of years, I felt deeply hurt and unheard, and I felt that my power had been taken away. I felt like there was a great injustice that had been done, So how that affected me was it made me feel this rage and this anger that was greater than anything I'd ever felt in my life, and as a result of that, I tried to speak my truth, and I did it in a very angry way, and as a result of that, I did actually hurt a lot of people, and I'm not saying those people were innocent, that I felt that there was an injustice that was done to me, but I was being abusive by the way that I handled that situation, and at the root of it was just this feeling of injustice that the positive intention of my actions the positive intention behind my actions was that I was looking to restore the balance. I was looking for justice. So as a result of that, literally I felt so angry that I could have murdered people. And I'm just saying that because that was how angry I felt, So I feel that's important to say because I understand, the anger behind the the riots and behind all the violence that's going on. I've felt that way by myself, I've felt injustice. I've felt that type of that strong type of anger where you're looking to restore the balance, and I know how difficult that is to process and to deal with. So please understand. So although, in no way do I condone violence, I get it, it's, and although I'm not black, and I've never experienced racism, I can relate to the anger behind injustice. So I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to share my experience of that. So yeah, next question is, why is that relevant? Well, I've already mentioned it's related to the Black Lives Matter and the riots and this feeling of injustice within the black community, and not just the black community, the topic of racism in general and systemic racism and inequality because of the colour of your skin. So anyone who's experienced that, of any ethnic background, so it's relevant, I feel, to justice. So if we go deeper with that, if we take that a bit deeper and we look at the bigger picture, how does that relate to society in general? So it relates to society because it relates to our current justice system, which I've spoken about a little bit, which is basically when it's this ingrained idea it's this ingrained idea in society, which is if somebody does something wrong, then they need to be punished, and currently that's the understanding that we have of justice. It's if someone does something wrong, then we need to punish them. That's our current understanding. But the problem with that from a fifth dimensional perspective, from a unity perspective, is that it doesn't take into account why the crime was committed. So I believe, this is just my perspective, that when someone commits a crime, when someone hurts someone else, it's because they're hurting or they've been hurt. And yeah, a lot of times that is to do with they feel a sense of injustice, So I think it's this topic of justice that's at the heart of all crimes and all wars, So it's this current understanding and this current consciousness, which is, you hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you. And the problem with that is, where does it end? We go to war with other countries because we want to restore this sense of justice. But then by doing that, we hurt innocent people, and it just, I think if we look at society, then we can say that current understanding that we have of justice and of restoring justice by punishing people and hurting people, it doesn't actually work. It just creates more pain. And then because people are in pain, they go out and hurt more people because they want justice, and it goes on and on and on, and it never stops. So also, if you look at the other side of the coin, it's not really fair to force forgiveness on someone, or to say, well, you just have to be kind to the people that hurt you, because we have to kind of have some kind of level of tolerance of where people are at. So yeah, so basically I feel that we need to look at both sides of the coin. We need to look at the feelings of the person that's been hurt and the person that's causing hurt. Yeah. So one of the something that I heard somebody saying was regarding, regarding this debate that's going on about, well, not a debate, but it's just different perspectives. Some people are saying some people are saying all lives matter, and other people are taking offense to that, and they're saying, well, no. So what somebody said was, if you broke your finger, would you say that all fingers matter? So I think the problem with that analogy is that it doesn't make sense. And the reason it doesn't make sense is because if we are the body of God, if all of humanity is the body of God, if we use that analogy to describe all of humanity, then all bones in the body are broken at this point, right? So there's so much pain in the hearts of all of humanity right now that we're causing harm to each other, and so I don't think it's, given the level of the scope of the problem, I don't think it's fair to just look at one finger in the body that's broken and say this finger matters. It's not fair to all the other hurt. So the reality is kind of, what's the best way to stop people from being harmed? What's the best way to protect Black people? And I feel it's to look at the people that are causing the hurt, and to understand the psychology behind that, and to rehabilitate people. So it's this idea of rehabilitating criminals, and shifting our perspective to understand that someone who causes pain to someone else is someone that's hurting themselves. So the best way to stop them from causing pain is to fix them. So I believe that we should focus on the people that are causing pain, and to understand, and it doesn't mean that we take love away from, so we need to show love to the victims and the perpetrators. It's both sides. So I feel that that's the difference, that's the shift in consciousness, is that we need to understand that both sides need love, and that's what really heals the problem. So yeah, what else did I write down? Yeah, we need to understand that people who cause pain to others are people who have been wounded themselves. So yeah, so the next question is what does that look like in actual reality? How can we build a better understanding and a better justice system? So what steps can we take to try and implement that in our lives, and not just in our lives but in society as well? So what I feel I've already said is that it involves a shift of consciousness. It involves understanding that someone who causes pain to another person is someone that's in pain themselves. So yeah, third dimensionally, justice is to punish the person who hurt you in some way, to cause them to be in pain because you were in pain. So people talk about this So people talk about karma, karma's a bitch, and getting their comeuppance, and it's this idea of, uh, you know, glorifying pain to someone who's caused pain as being a positive thing, you know. So if you look at the hurt person as being hurt themselves, I just feel it doesn't make sense, you know. So yeah, because why, if someone's in pain and they're causing pain to others because they're in pain, why would you want to cause them more pain? You know, like, oh, you need to be punished. Like, it just, to me, like, because I understand that so deeply, like, it doesn't make sense, you know? So, yeah, we need to look at rehabilitation for these people. We need to try and understand why they're doing what they're doing. Why are they hurting others? You know? So, um, yeah, so basically, like, what does that look like? Like, how do we do that kind of thing? So, yeah, so I've wrote some stuff down. So, first of all, you want to, and this applies for the victim as well as the perpetrator. So, whether this is a criminal, someone that's caused harm to others, or whether it is the victim of a crime, then we can use these steps for both sides. So, first step, find out what is the wound. So, what is the wound? Understand their perspective, listen to them, find out what their pain is. If that's someone who's causing pain, why are they causing pain? If it's someone that's had pain caused to them, then what pain is it? Because if we understand what the pain is, then we can understand how to restore justice to them. So find out what is it that they need. Why are they doing that? Why are they hurting people? Or if it's a victim, then what do they need to feel safe? What do they need to feel honoured and to feel a sense of justice? What is their need? So the second step is to meet those needs in an appropriate way. So that doesn't have to be the person that, so justice doesn't have to be restored by the person that's hurt them. It can be restored by anyone. So, but ideally, yeah, it would be by the perpetrator of a crime, in making amends and stuff. But yeah, like, I think if sometimes that's not always possible, if someone doesn't have a level of consciousness where they're able to understand the consequences of their actions, then they can't make amends to the other person. So we can that takes me on to step 3, which is, we can provide the other person with the opposite experience to what they've experienced. So to heal is to experience the opposite. So for example, we can raise them up. If someone has experienced racism, if they have been hurt, if they've been made to feel small or not important, then to heal would be to make those people feel important, make them feel special, to honour them. So to raise them up to a higher level than normal, make them feel special, more love, not less, always more love, not less. So an example from my life, I currently work with a family of African origin. So I look after three beautiful children, two girls and a boy. One of the younger girl is autistic, and she's actually a joy to work with. She's taught me so much. She's actually taught me the meaning of unconditional love. She's just herself, and yeah, um, and she can't be controlled. And so she's just taught me the meaning of unconditional love, and it's really beautiful. It's been a beautiful experience. But yeah, so basically, so they're a family of African origin. So yeah, so I understand that right now, even though they might not be conscious of it, they're too small to understand, within their DNA structure and their ancestral patterns, they're healing these old wounds from their ancestors who did experience racism, so yeah, so basically I've been providing them with, I've been trying to honor them. I've been trying to, on a deeper level, and just to treat them like the kings and queens that they are, and to really show them a lot of love and a lot of respect, and to honor them and treat them like, um, gods and goddesses, just like everybody wants to be treated as special, everybody wants to be treated like a princess. That's a lovely experience to have. So I've been trying to give them experiences that provide them with the idea that they're special, and that they're important. So, yeah, so I feel that that's important. I feel that that's, as a white person, that's what I can do to help, to provide a new generation of black children with experiences of feeling really respected by a white person, you know. So hopefully when they grow up that they'll remember that. So I'm providing them with maybe the opposite experience to racism, the opposite experience of being disrespected, and it's not me that's disrespected them. They've maybe never experienced racism yet. They're probably too young, and hopefully they never will. But yeah, but despite that, I know that they have these patterns, these ancestral patterns in their DNA that they're healing, and the family will be healing from that. So yeah, so I'm still providing them with a positive experience of feeling honored and feeling respected. So yeah, I don't know how people are going to take this video. I hope nobody takes it in the wrong way, but yeah, I felt like I wanted to talk, and I felt like I wanted to share my experiences. So of yeah, I feel like it's related to justice, and I feel like we really need to honor people, and we need to honor the pain that people are in that causes them to cause pain to others, So I feel like that's a shift in consciousness, and having, I've gone through, as I said before, I've gone through the experience of feeling injustice and acting out on that and causing deep pain to others through my actions. So, and then understanding that and taking ownership of it, and thinking, how can I be a better person as a result of that? And all the lessons that I learned. So I felt that it was important to share, because it's a process, it's just a process. So You know, I look at what's going on and I have deep empathy for that degree of pain. You know, I understand. I do. I don't, as I said before, I don't understand. I've never experienced racism, but I do understand injustice and the need for justice and how deeply hurtful that is and how much anger it brings up. And I've been through the process and I've came out the other side and I'm a better person because of it, you know. So I'm not worried. I just know that there's a process of healing that's going on right now that's deeply painful and deeply difficult, and you know, and anyone that's going through that has my deepest empathy. And I know that you will be a stronger person and a wiser person, you know, once you heal from that. So yeah, lots of love.